And Juliette, I'm so excited to meet her. Juliette is the Latina up and comer honoree for the Hispanic Women of Distinction Luncheon. This is the first time we're having this distinction for the event, and we have selected Juliette. Welcome, Juliette.
Hi, Janie. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm so happy to be here.
So happy to have you on the show. Congratulations, Juliette, on
Thank
being
you.
the Latina up and comer, the
Yeah,
first Latina up and comer, yes, for the Hispanic Women of Distinction event that is taking place on September 10th at the Signature Grand in Davie. And so we're so happy to be able to give that distinction to you, and you're such an accomplished young lady, and
thank
you're
you.
very multifaceted. I was reading your bio, I was reading all of the things that you participate in, and you're passionate about music, but you're also very involved in organ donorship, and that's a very I think that's very intense, right?
Yeah.
Platform. Tell us a little bit about that, how you came to be a part of that world, and how is it that you need our support to be able to continue to do the things that you're doing, Juliette?
Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Part of the reason why I was able to be given such a wonderful award from the Hispanic Woman of Distinction is because of my work with the Miss America organization. This summer, I'll be running for the title of Miss Florida in June as Miss South Florida Fair 2020. And each contestant has to have a social impact initiative that speaks to her. And as you said, mine is about organ donation. I have a platform called Life is Awesome, Pass It On. My father is a nephrologist, which is a kidney doctor. My mother is a transplant nurse. So as you can imagine, I grew up in a household where every day the concept of transplantation and the importance of organ donation was highly talked about and emphasized. And so I naively thought that because I knew all about it, so many other households would as well. And of course, that's not the case. And so
Right.
that's when I knew I needed to become an advocate for an under talked about issue. And through my collaboration in the organ donation community, I've made a national partnership with Donate Life America and statewide partnerships with the National Kidney Foundation of Florida and the Florida Renal Association. And it's not even just the backing from these organizations that is so important, but it's the fact that they educate me. They provide me with statistics and stats or facts that I can share with my audience. There are currently 108,000 people on the organ donation transplant waiting list, and 82% of those patients are kidneys or waiting for a kidney. 60% are minorities. And so it's statistics like that that really put it into perspective and get people eager to join the registry. And so having that profound impact is what is most important to me. You also mentioned that I am interested in music. And I will say that I'm currently studying music at the Frost School of Music at the University of Miami right now, along with political science. And I
Wonderful.
released a single on iTunes on December 4th of 2020. It's called Winter Wonderland. It's a Christmas album. And 100% of the proceeds from that single went to Donate Life America, hence how I got my ambassadorship with them. The full album will be released in November of 2021. And 100% of the proceeds will be donated to various organ donation charities. So it is a cause that is deeply important to me. And I feel very blessed to be able to represent this community.
That is wonderful. And I'll ask you to share that information with us in a little bit. But let me ask you about organ donation, especially in the Latino community. And you gave us some statistics on the community, and the number of minorities that are waiting for kidney donations is actually pretty high.
Really.
What do you think? What do you think are some of the obstacles, or maybe some of the misunderstandings that our communities have with regards to organ donorship? That's not something that, number one, we talk about. It's not
Sure.
something that is common amongst our people. And why do you think that is?
Well, there's a multitude of factors. We do have to consider that this is often genetically inherited. Chronic disease sometimes can be due to those factors. However, a lot of it has to do with lifestyle. And although I'm an advocate for, receiving a life-saving transplant and becoming a donor, I'm also an advocate of the healthy lifestyle that one must lead in order to avoid chronic disease or in order to be able to donate an organ. And the Latino and Black communities specifically are impacted the hardest. The Latino community has to often deal with liver transplant. Blacks have to deal with kidney transplant, and it really impacts them in those sectors. And we'll often see that it is often due to obesity, to being overweight. That is a huge factor. And so my mother, who's a transplant nurse, always encourages her patients to lead those healthy lifestyles in order to avoid chronic disease or to be able to donate an organ. We'll often see in those communities as well that since it's often hereditary, they're not able to donate organs to their own family members. You'll often wonder why family members of minority patients are posting on Facebook, please help my cousin, please help my brother, he needs an organ. And you're probably thinking, well, why couldn't you give one? Because they're afraid that they may one day have the same disease themselves. And of course, they have to think of that and understand that they need to keep themselves healthy and they may not be able to donate an organ. Also, another thing that profoundly impacts the amount of organs that are able to be given is that out of every 1,000 deceased donors, most donors will be deceased. Living donation is on the rise, but it's not quite as prevalent. Out of every 1,000 deceased donors, only 3 will actually be able to give a life-saving transplant. And so 997 people are not able to give their organs due to health-related concerns. So it's things like that that are contributing to the national shortage. And part of the reason, well, the country that is actually thriving in terms of organ donation is Brazil. And not only does Brazil adopt an opt-out policy, which I could get way into that, but that basically means it's the opposite of the US, where we opt in. We say at the DMV, I would like to be an organ donor, or register online, I'd like to be an organ donor. In Brazil and in the UK, for example, they say, I would not like to be an organ donor, but unless specified, they are assumed to be so. So that is one major reason why they are doing so well. And another major reason why the US is not thriving as much is because there are not enough surgeons on the weekends to perform transplants, and organs are actually often thrown out. That is why the success rate of transplants is so high in Brazil and so low in the US. And so I'm hoping that the new presidential administration will take that into consideration and change their policy on that, because other countries are thriving and the minority communities that are impacted hardest by this need that attention.
That is fascinating, Juliette. I mean, I think that we could have a show just on that topic, and I think that we're going to do it, and I'm going to call you back and invite you back so that we can talk about that, because this is definitely something that impacts so many of us. I mean, I think that many of us in our own families can see, okay, yeah, my grandfather or my dad or my uncle or my brother, has issues, with kidneys or with liver, or they're going through, what is that called? With the kidneys, with the dialysis, right? And that leads to, right, to needing that kidney transplant and all of that. So this is definitely something that we need to continue to talk about. A lot of it, you just put a bug in my ear too, the healthy lifestyle. Obesity is a huge factor, you said. I'm like, wow, I better go on a diet now.
Well, I mean, it's not the only factor, but in the US, where that is such a prevalent issue as a whole, it definitely is one of the leading factors. Yes. And also, I'll bring my dad back, who would love to talk to you about organ donation. He just wants to be on here, I'm sure.
We would love to talk to him as well. So listen, I'm really so honored to be able to talk to you about this and about all of these things that you are doing, and about your music as well. Tell me a little bit more about your music. You are, as you said, you're studying right now. How did that come about? I mean, has that been something that you have always, throughout your lifetime, you have appreciated music and actually wanted to do it? And what do you want to do with it?
Sure. So, oh gosh, that's a big history, but to sum it up,
right.
It's okay. At the age of 3, I actually began dancing, and how that relates to music is that I remember them telling me I had like a musicality as a child, although you don't really read too much into that. So, I mean, that was like as vague as it gets. But when I was on stage and all the other girls, like we would all dance in a big group, they would all leave the stage and I would be the one to stay on stage and wave, where someone would physically have to come drag me off. And spoiler alert, that didn't really change. No, I'm just kidding. But my parents then realized she likes theater. And so I kept doing children's productions. And then at the age of 10, I landed my first professional role at the Pembroke Pines Theater of the Performing Arts. And from then I just just got hooked. I absolutely fell in love with it. And I began doing professional theater from there. I worked with the Miami Stage Company. I performed at theaters all across South Florida. I performed at the Broward Center, the Adrian Arts Center, the Kravitz Center, the Aventura Cultural Arts Center, the Southdale Cultural Arts Center. I can't even name them all. I've just had a plethora of opportunities in the musical theater world. As far as opera goes, at age 13, one of my vocal coaches told me, you have a gift for opera, like you need to pursue this immediately. And I thought, what? There's no way. But I ended up falling in love with it. I went to high school at St. Thomas Aquinas, and in the summers, I would attend the Frost School of Music summer camp. So it's a very full circle moment that I'm now studying there. And one of the directors who actually was on Broadway, he went to Juilliard, he just was the real deal, secretly put me in the opera program without me knowing. Like, he put me in an opera class. And when I was reading German Mozart, I realized I am not in musical theater. Something happened, but I fell in love with it. I became a protege with the Florida Grand Opera. I became the social director of their opera teens group. I got to perform in operas. In fact, I once dressed as a matador for Carmen. Like, I was the only one short enough to fit into the tiniest costume, and I was handing out brochures as a promotional thing. And there were so many people saying, "Thank you, young man," and so that was very humbling. And I began my affiliation through there with the Magic City Opera, and so I've been blessed with many opportunities. Then flash forward to recently, I was admitted into the University of Miami in 2019 as a musical theater major. I'm now a political science major studying military defense and international relations, but I'm minoring in opera, theater arts, and broadcast journalism. So it is very much a part of my life. I still love it. What I hope to do with it? Well, right now, as I said before, I'm releasing an album that's being completely donated to charity. I love recording. I never thought I would fall in love with it as much as I did, so I'm definitely considering that. However, I'm receiving world-class training at the Frost School of Music, and so if an opportunity provides itself where I am able to be in a Broadway show or in an opera production, I will absolutely take it. In fact, I still audition. I'm still in the South Florida theater community. I performed last month for the first time since COVID on the Broward Center of the Performing Arts stage, which was a beautiful moment. And so I love it. And while I am focusing on politics right now, that is a very big passion of mine. It'll always be in my heart, and it will always be on my radar.
That is amazing and wonderful. And let me ask you something. You said you participated like in the Miss America program. Was did you have to perform at all? And did you sing opera?
Absolutely.
As part of your talent?
So yes, opera is my talent, and I performed that at the local. I'm currently Miss South Florida Fair, and for those of you who are from South Florida, that is a really big thing down here for us, so that was an exciting time. And of course, I was supposed to compete for Miss Florida last summer, but COVID changed that, so I'll be competing next month. I'll be competing on June 26th for the title of Miss Florida, and I will be singing opera on stage. My vocal coach, Jeanette Thompson from the Frost School of Music, is working me very hard. She is amazing, and so I'm prepared to do that. Talent is in fact 35% of our final cumulative score. So it is a very big part of the Miss America organization. And while I love all competitions that empower women, I think that's what sets Miss America apart. Besides its scholarship initiative, the winner receives money that goes towards college and grad school. And so, being able to have the talent aspect in it as someone that is pursuing arts academically is really incredibly special.
That is amazing, and we definitely wish you much success.
Thank you.
Listen, we are so excited again that you are our first Latina up-and-comer honoree for the Hispanic Women of Distinction, and get ready to walk a long runway.
I know, I heard, but I'm very excited. Elaine is just an angel. To have that honor is amazing, and she actually told me that the awards was founded the year I was born. So that was really cool to hear.
That's exciting. That is wonderful. That's wonderful. And that will be taking place September 10th at the Signature Grand in Davie. If you haven't purchased your tickets, really now is the moment to do that, because they are selling out very, very quickly, and they always do. The event is always sold out, and this year yours truly will be coming back, but I'll be walking with the former honorees, so we'll be seeing you there as well, Juliette. If we haven't, if we don't meet beforehand, we'll be meeting there.
I'm sure we will. This is amazing. Thank you. I'm so happy to see you.
Thank you so much. So listen, how do we follow you? How do we get more information on this, on the organ donorships? How do we support you in the Miss America and other pageants that you are doing? And how do we purchase the music that you created?
Okay, great. So first off, I'm very active on social media, as I know you are,
Okay.
Janie. You have a very impressive social media. I do Facebook. My Facebook is simply my name, Juliette Valle, and I have an
Okay.
Instagram at the official Juliette Valle. I'm constantly posting on there. My most
Okay.
prominent form of social media is going to be on YouTube, actually. I have a YouTube channel called The
Okay.
Silver Lining Show. I don't know if I'm as much of a pro at interviewing as you are, but I do love it.
No.
And I interview several former Miss Americas, pageant title holders, businesswomen, artists, and so on and so forth. So it's really about empowering women, and I love that. You can find my content
Beautiful.
on YouTube under The Silver Lining Show by Juliette Valle, and on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon. My single is available on all streaming platforms, so you can buy it there. Please support me, because the money's not going to me, it's going to organ donation patients. So that is what is so important. And you, again, on all streaming platforms. I also post the links on my social media often. And as far as registering, you could register at registerme.org. That is the national registry. You can register with your own state registries as well. However, I encourage potential donors to register nationally, so that should you move to a different state, you don't have to re-register. You can do it in any state you need. And I also have my own campaign page, which is on my social media. It is very long because it is named after my platform, which is Life is Awesome, Pass It On. So I will spare you the URL reading, and I'll just let you find it on my page. And as far as Miss Florida, you can watch Miss Florida. It will be in Lakeland. So if you wish to buy a ticket, I'm not sure the capacity just yet. So live streaming is an option. The live stream link, we're told, is to be released a week before the pageant. So I will be posting it, no doubt. And I will email it to all the Hispanic women of distinction, formers, and current honorees, so that you guys can watch it.
Awesome. Fantastic. And we definitely will be supporting you, Juliette. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. And I think you are a phenomenal communicator. And I'm sure your YouTube show is amazing, because you are amazing.
You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my dear. And we'll be seeing each other in September. And again, make sure that you're following her at the official Juliette Valle on Instagram. Okay. And I think that's you're pretty good there on Instagram as well. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you
for joining us today. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. So that is the phenomenal Juliette Valle, and she is the first Latina up-and-comer honoree, and deservedly so. I mean, she is doing so many amazing things, and I think that's fantastic.